Hi guys, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. I'm going to let you all into a little secret. If you didn't already know, the grind is actually dead within a Division 2. Yes, that's right, the grind for gears is kind of pointless. Well, to get the perfect gears anyway. I'm just finding grinding for gears is just kind of pointless at the moment. I mean, you know, if you take a look at the difficulty behind getting the right amount of attributes, the right colours of those attributes, and high values of those attributes. Then there's the case of getting the right talents, whether or not they're active or passive, which then relies on you getting the right amount of attributes to trigger said talents. And then only being able to roll one of those is just kind of making the game a bit monotonous. Anyway, I think you understand where I'm coming from, you know, and to get these gears, you know, even if you did get the perfect gear, the reward for it isn't as great as, you know, you'd want it to be. Because, you know, we all know the gap between a well-tuned, synergised build and a random 6-piece build is very minimal anyway. And for me, it just kind of makes it such a ball ache to grind for perfection. So I think it's about time Massive make a few changes to Recalibration, along with the introduction of maybe the Optimisation station within the Division 2. And I think these changes we're going to talk about will save the grind and make it appealing again, so let's get into it. So the ideas I've got have all merged into one collective debate, so we'll just discuss them and, you know, we'll just kind of talk about them all together and then break them down at the end. First, I'd like to talk about the introduction of the Optimisation station, as this one's pretty straightforward. You know, on the off chance that you do get that perfect gear piece, you'd just be absolutely gutted if the attribute values of, say, the armour was really low. So say for instance, you know you can get an armour value of either, say, like 20% total armour or 40,000, you know, armour for instance. But then you get that perfect piece where your armour's about like 5,000 or 6,000. And I don't think I have to tell anybody how the Optimisation station works, but being able to use crafting materials like we did with Division Tech and the Division 1, for me, is a must. Do you know, when you look at it, there's more variables within Division 2, so getting those perfect rolls is actually a lot harder than it was back in the, you know, back in the Big Apple. So the fact we haven't got the tools that we had in the Division 1 in the Division 2 is just quite outstanding. But, you know, the biggest things I think that make the grind appealing again would just lies within the recalibration, you know, what we've already got. I think you should be able to change one attribute and one talent. And not only that, I think you should be able to change the attribute colour as well. So just say for instance you had skill power on a chest piece and you didn't actually want skill power, you wanted, you know, raw damage, you could actually change it to weapon damage if you really wanted to. I don't think that's too much to ask, and it certainly doesn't make things too easy because there's still plenty of factors to take into consideration. You know, when you look at like builds where you might have the perfect chest piece, but just say for instance you're doing the AR build where you go for 377 with the raw damage and you've got yourself 4 reds and you need to change, you know, that 1 red, but it's on a perfect piece for, like, say, the other values. I just think you should be able to change the attribute, not only the attribute itself, but obviously the colour to red, yellow or blue. I don't see that being too overpowered myself, and I think people will be more engrossed in the grind, and I think that what they'll know, because they can do it, they'll go getting all those crafting materials more, go farm the DZ, go farm all the heroics, whatever. I just think it'd be a great addition to make, you know, being able to change one of each and being able to change the value of the actual attribute as well. And furthermore, you know, actually looking at the mod slots as well, I think that should be determined by what you stick in the mod slot. You know, so for instance, sticking an offensive mod in a slot should increase your red value towards talents. And, you know, the same with defensive or you know, the utility slot, rather than, you know, sticking a generic assault rifle mod, for instance, in a utility slot. I think the slots altogether should just become generic until you put an actual mod in them, and then that way you can tailor your build to, you know, the amount of attributes that you need for your talent. I just think that would also, you know, make the game just that little bit better. Because let's face it, if we can tailor our builds that way, it just gives us and our builds that more of a personal touch. If these little things were implemented in the game, it just makes things so much better. Not easier, because there's still a lot of things to take into consideration, but they'll just make every gear worth taking a look at, and not just a case of, right, that's not perfect because it's got a low value, or that's not perfect because it's only got 1 red and not 2 reds, you know. So just think, I'd love to see the Optimisation station to max out those attribute values, being able to recalibrate an attribute and a talent, and then change the colour of an attribute, and have the mods determine the build arc. Being able to maximise builds is going to give people who grind the game that skill gap they're missing as well, so I think that should be there, because people aren't going to waste their materials on a random 6-piece gear. They're going to work hard to grind to try and get the perfect gear and then optimise that. And then that way the people who've got those optimised builds will feel the benefits of obviously going up against people with just random 6 pieces. I think that just makes sense. Because I think at the moment, you know, the game is clearly built around the casual players. And I do actually think it's a bit ironic because I think the casual players are starting to tail off now due to the, you know, lack of diversity within the game and obviously the builds and the grind. So anyway, these are just a few of the ideas I've come up with. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below. And obviously I'd love to hear some ideas that you guys have got for builds and how we could change them, or, you know, the build arc, so to speak. As I know it wasn't a long one today, guys, but, you know, it was an interesting topic and there are a few suggestions that we could put to the devs there. So if you did like today's video, guys, don't forget to hit that like button to let me know you're enjoying the Division 2 series. And if you are new, hit that subscribe button for more Division 2 content. And until next time, Aiden's out.